Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Super Bowel Toilet Ads and Halftime Show, Enter the Stars Decode. If you're tuning in, you're in the right place. I thought you guys might get a kick out of the Super Bowel. Interestingly, I named the show Super Bowel prior to knowing that many of the ads were littered with potty jokes. So it's pretty fitting, isn't it? Now, I mentioned to you yesterday that the 5th of November, which was Election Day, of course, is when Doc Brown from Back to the Future said he discovered time travel. And he said that he discovered it standing on a toilet. So there's something to this toilet thing and these potty jokes, isn't there? It's about portals. It's about demonic spirits entering our reality through these rituals that we're going to cover today. Now, before we move on, we've been decoding Super Bowls for about a decade now, haven't we? And every year, a new conspiracy channel gets millions of views saying that the world's going to end, or the church is going to get raptured, or a lot of people are going to die on Super Bowl day, right? And here we are, the day after Super Bowl day, and none of that happens. Now, why does this happen in our truth community over and over again? Well, because there's no better way to get people to watch your video than to date set. And the enemy knows that something really bad happens when you keep promising something over and over and over again and nothing ever happens. This is when people lose faith. They lose trust in the truth community and truth channels as a whole. They just throw the baby out with the bathwater. So those truth channels that made beyond a shadow of a doubt predictions, you need to let them know that you're disappointed so that they could do better next time. The same way I would expect for you to express your disappointment in something in a nice way if I was dead wrong about something like that. Well, let's get started. Today we're going to start with the ads, and then we'll get into the halftime show at the end. But there was a lot of Gemini pairing going on with the ads. A lot of it, you guys. David Beckham and Matt Damon. Let's get into some of these ads here. Now, I'm not going to play this because I'm not sure how they feel about a lot of this. So I'm just going to kind of skip through. I might play little bits of it, but not much, just because this is what's going on. So this is, of course, is David Beckham. This is a beer commercial, and they pair him with Matt Damon. So there's a lot of this Gemini pairing going on, and you'll see why in a minute. But this is all about Gemini pairing. It gets mentioned throughout the Super Bowl. So David Beckham finds out that he's got a twin. Let's play this here.
Left him in America.
There it is.
I'm sorry. So, what's his name?
Other David.
You called him Other David.
So they call him Other David. They show a picture of Gemini twins, essentially. But then when he shows up, he meets Matt Damon. And this is supposed to be his brother. And his brother is into football the way we understand football. But of course, in England, it's football is soccer, right? So that's kind of the joke. And this goes on. Let's fast forward through this. Now, there's another pairing type of, let's show you the part where he kicks the football. So he's like, it's a little thing I do. He grabs the football and he kicks it. And David Beckham's like all confused. And he's like, dude, wake up. Like, football. Now, let's get into this next pairing ad. And this one is Dunkin' Donuts, of course. And it's Casey and Ben Affleck, who are brothers, more doubling, right? And this makes sense because the Gemini in chief was in attendance at the Super Bowl. But interestingly, he was barely shown. And I think the reason why this happened was because of his security. That's why I think this was really, that really happened. They didn't want anybody to know the exact location of Trump. And just in case someone snuck in a gun or something, they didn't want to take that risk. And that makes sense, right? But check this out. Here's the Dunkin' Donuts ad. And this individual comes up out of this pot of coffee beans. And what this reminds me of is essentially the swamp. Watch this.
What are you doing in there?
He comes up out of the swamp. Now there's something to this, okay? Because this guy that comes up out of the swamp is connected to Trump in this bizarre way.
We're doing a Dunkin' Donuts commercial, right?
Right.
So let's go back here. Let's show you this guy's face.
What are you doing in there?
We're doing a Dunkin' Donuts.
Who is this guy? Well, he played in a movie about Donald Trump called The Apprentice. It just came out like about a month before the election. I watched the film. It was completely disgusting, but it showed the life of Donald Trump under Roy Cohn. Here's the actor here, Jeremy Strong. So this was product placement. Now, Jeremy Strong, who played Roy Cohn, who Trump was his apprentice. He learned everything from Roy Cohn, who was an attorney, a relentless New York attorney, who had bisexual tendencies and all this other weird stuff. Jeremy Strong, who plays him, was born on December 25th, which is like essentially Apollo Day. And look at the age of Jeremy Strong. The age that he was when the film came out, 46. Trump was born in 1946. So there's some strange synchronicities going on with that. Let's get back over here and get into some of these other ads. Now, I didn't look at all the ads. We're going to cover about 6 or 7 of them today that I thought were of note. So we've got a connection between this guy coming up out of the swamp, and Roy Cohn was definitely seen as a swamp creature. Okay, he was the lowest of the lowest, and this is who Trump learned from. Now, there were also some alien themes in the ads as well. Let's take a look at some of those. There were actually 2 separate ads where there were alien themes, and I'll explain to you what all that means. Let's play this through.
Commercial, right?
Now, this scene actually reminded me of E.T. For those of us that grew up in the E.T. extraterrestrial era. This was a Totino's pizza roll ad modeled after the E.T. movie. And the reason why I say that is because there was an iconic scene in E.T. where the children see E.T. getting into his spaceship or coming off the spaceship. I can't remember. But they basically show them here getting off of the spaceship. He almost looks like the abominable snowman or something. And they're all standing in the forest next to the spaceship. And the alien gets caught in the door. So this is total like ET programming here. He gets stuck in the spaceship door. Now there was another alien themed ad as well. And this one was for cookware. Let's take a look here. Let's fast forward to that one. And this one had Chef Ramsay. Let's fast forward to that one. So Chef Ramsay's in this one, and he enters a spaceship. Now this ad has some truth to it. It's crazy because at the very beginning of the channel, one of the first videos we did was talking about how alien technology was reverse engineered from UFO spacecraft. And that some of the companies basically consolidated all of that knowledge, consolidated all that reverse engineering. Companies like DuPont. In one of the very first videos we did, we like exposed that, how they reverse engineered, and they were able to basically get alien technology like spandex and Teflon and all these different technologies that we have today, mostly materials technology. But watch this and listen to what they say here, because basically Chef Ramsay is asked to cook for the Area 51 aliens. The scene opens with a wide shot of Area 51. Let's play that for you.
Those pizza rolls, the most snackable pizza in the universe.
So they're at Area 51. Ramsay's invited. You get almost the same doors that the Totino's pizza ad alien got caught in. And here comes Ramsey, and the lady's explaining to him that he's going to cook for the aliens.
Oh, food is the worst.
Mr. Ramsey will need you to cook for them. You'll have...
Now, look at, they've got the egg in the shape of Saturn here. It's pretty creepy. Let's fix this so you guys can see this a little bit better. Now, something else is going on here, though, because you're going to hear what he's going to say next is actually true. This whole reverse engineering aspect to this.
Technology.
Wait.
One test kitchen has to offer, including top secret alien cooking technology.
Top secret alien cooking technology.
Wait. That's just a Hexland pan. I've got these at home.
Unfortunately.
So, what else is going on? Well, then he literally says that all the famous people are aliens, which again is likely true.
Fortunately, it was leaked 8 years ago. The pan was developed using material from an alien spacecraft.
What?
Hop over to that part. Okay, listen to what he says here.
Not her. Him.
Hey, what's up, dude? You're an alien?
You're an alien? And listen to what he says next.
All famous people are aliens.
I'm not.
I meant like really famous people.
So they're like dropping truth bombs under the guise of comedy. They're fictionalizing the truth so that nobody ever believes it. Now, there is a reason why I called this the super bowel, because there was a lot of farting jokes and potty jokes in these ads. Next, we're going to look at the Little Caesars ad, and there's literally a potty joke where he actually passes gas. Let's fast forward to that one. I mean, this is insane. Now, what is this all about? Well, it's about the swamp and the toilet and the unclean spirits. Apparently, we are on the cusp of these spirits manifesting in our reality. Let's take a look. I think it's at the end.
I'll have what she's having.
Make people crave bacon.
Fast forward through these. Let's get to the Little Caesars ad.
Not even.
Now, there were all these other ads too, which were just silly.
Went foot.
I didn't see anything of true note in some of these other ads. I mean, I could have missed some of this, but... Okay, Little Caesars, where are you?
My dad's eating Crazy Puffs again.
There we go.
Don't ask.
Whoa.
So toward the end of this one, he like passes gas. Let's see.
Have you tried the new bacon ones? There are bacon ones?
Pizza.
I mean, are you kidding me? When have you ever seen anything like this? And then there's a Meta artificial intelligence glasses ad that we're going to look at next. And more gas being passed, more pairing of celebrities. Skip through this Bud Light ad. Let's see here. So this guy and Chris Hemsworth, I always forget this guy's name, but he pairs up with Chris Hemsworth, and he basically eats a banana art by accident. And he's like, he's in trouble because it was worth all this money.
That's a $6.2 million banana.
Are you kidding? We need to find you another banana.
Banana.
Well, let's see. Let's get to the part where he passes gas so you can hear this.
Bananas.
Gentlemen,
What a place you have.
who eats art?
I think you're supposed to say, hey, Meta.
Like, hey, Meta.
So artificial intelligence is here to stay. It's the new push. And look at how all of a sudden it happened, right? It was just like one day we all woke up and all of a sudden it was all about artificial intelligence.
Who eats art?
And then Meta would say,
Chris Pratt.
Hey, Meta, call my lawyer.
Let's go back.
Meta, what is this art?
The HOA's already breathing down my neck. Catalan worth $6.2 million.
What?
So there you go. Passing gas. It's all about the gas. The swamp. Now, there was a separate ad. Now, this was a toilet paper ad. And of course, you would expect there to be, it's associated with, defecation, right? But when have they ever literally put, potty jokes in a toilet paper ad? Now, this is Angel Soft.
Angel Soft interrupts this broadcast to bring you a bathroom break.
A bathroom break. Okay, so now you get the theme. Potty jokes. Let's keep watching.
I know you need one, so come on, let's go.
Go to the bathroom. And so it's got like a countdown for you to go to the bathroom. This is your potty tunity, like opportunity. This is unbelievable.
It's simple. Do not watch this. This is your potty tunity. It's simple. To the bathroom.
Makes you wonder, right? Makes you wonder. Now, let's keep going here. There's a couple more ads and we'll get into this halftime show. Because there's another pair of actors. Let's get to that part here.
What?
There's a whale ad, which was dumb. A beluga whale with an iPhone. Oh, on his pineal gland. That is of note. And he apparently, this is like nerds. It's like a nerdy beluga whale or something. Who basically, and this guy drops his phone in the water and the beluga whale picks it up and it's on his pineal gland. So that's of note as well. It's all about the mind control of technology. Let's keep going here. So I know there's another ad with a pair of actors.
Oh, whale, Richard. No.
Oh, the Fast and Furious, another pair of actors. They're in I think that's a Camaro Super Sport. And instead of fast and furious, it's slow. So everyone's slowing down, right? It's a Haagen-Dazs commercial. So then we get into Zeem, which was weird. And in the logo for Zeem basically streams local TV stations. In the logo, there is an Ouroboros, a snake eating its tail. Let's get to that part. I'd never heard of Zeem before. What's this ad? Uh-oh. They're playing pickleball. It's a Michelob Ultra pickleball. Let's get to this Zeem ad. Now, I'm not playing these intentionally because, you can get in a lot of trouble. Taco Bell ad. Oh, here's the Zeem ad. That's John Stamos. He's on the piano talking about Zeem. It's a weird random commercial. And then we get the Ouroboros. EA. And then there's an AI builder ad where they literally tell you that astronauts in space is literally fake. Watch this.
Actors, we have the power to convince the world we know what we're doing, when in fact, we do not.
Actors. And he goes on and he says, we have the power to convince the world that we can do things, but we actually can't. I can make you believe I'm a detective without ever stepping foot into a crime scene. Now there's some symbols here and I didn't bother decoding them.
I can make you believe I'm a detective without ever stepping foot in an actual crime scene.
And they flash on the floor here. I'm sure there's something to this, but I don't want to take the time to do that. But next, watch.
These symbols probably symbolize something.
Here we go.
Astronaut? Nope. Houston, I'm observing some debris coming from Uranus.
More potty jokes. Astronaut? Nope. So basically saying astronauts in space is fake, right in plain sight, disclosing all this stuff under the guise of comedy. Then we get a symbol that we actually have already decoded. When the Vatican portals were opened, remember? In this GoDaddy Arrow commercial. Watch this.
Well, that's it. Noggins. With GoDaddy Arrow, it's like you know what you're doing.
Do you see the symbol? GoDaddy Arrow. There it is right there. That is the symbol that we decoded. It was the pathway of the opening of the portals. Wow. Now, what is GoDaddy Arrow? Well, it's artificial intelligence that can build your business for you to make you look like a real business online. GoDaddy Arrow, artificial intelligence, with the symbol of the opening portal locations at the Vatican in order. Remember, we mapped them. There was one here, and then it went up here, down here, and over here. So there's something to all this, isn't there? Now, during the game, I had noticed a few more ads worth a mention. There was an ad that actually talked about Jesus. And I was like, wow, finally. But here's the problem. There is a new form of Christianity that is rolling out. The form of Christianity that is rolling out is Trump's version of Christianity. He's just appointed Paula White, who has been on record denying Jesus as the Messiah, in her own words, not taken out of context. And of course, we know the rest of what Paula White represents, but this is who Trump has chosen. So when I see them talking about Jesus and, of course, mentioning Yeshua, which Kendrick Lamar did during the halftime performance, which is what we're going to cover next, I don't believe these people. And sure enough, as I was watching the Jesus ad, the very next ad after the Jesus ad was Liquid Death. The ad for Liquid Death, which is that water with all the weird, cringy, demonic death themes. Let's get into this halftime show, you guys. Now, of course, the Super BOWEL doesn't even allow you to actually cover a lot of this stuff. You can't even put Super Bowl in the name. Like if I were to put Super Bowl in the name of this video today, they might flag it under copyright. So I have screenshots, but the screenshots are telling. Now, weirdly, I don't think that they showed Trump the entire game, which was pretty much a blowout, as many of you saw, in case you missed it. And of course, that was the least likely scenario that anyone could have ever imagined. So probably almost nobody bet on a blowout by the Eagles. But it's weird. We were just talking about the Eagles yesterday, weren't we? At the end of the show yesterday, we pulled up the coronavirus and Trump riding on a golden eagle. And all of that actually played out after the game. And I'll explain that to you at the end of the show. But my guess is they didn't show Trump because for security reasons, right? So let's get started. So Kendrick Lamar performed with all red, white, and blue dancers, obviously represented America and the flag. And it was narrated by Samuel L. Jackson, who essentially portrayed Uncle Sam, but also hints of Uncle Tom. Now, this is weird because he plays Samuel L. Jackson plays the antagonist to Lamar's performance. He keeps interrupting him with Uncle Tom-like references, telling Kendrick Lamar to rein it in a little bit, take the edge off of it, make it more palatable, basically be a good black person. The whole thing was really cringy. The stage was a giant tic-tac-toe board. Here's the stage here. Let me zoom in on it so you could see this a little bit better. And each corner represented a different symbol, as you can see on your screen. There was an X, a square, an inverted triangle, and a circle on each of the four corners of this tic-tac-toe board. And each song was performed on one of these symbols. Now, it didn't take long for the still small voice to say, Casey, those are alchemical symbols. The square represents earth. The circle represents spirit. The cross is transformation. And the inverted triangle is water. And didn't take long for the Holy Spirit to also reveal to me that these were alchemical symbols on top of what's called a Freemason's magic square board. Let me say that again. A Freemason's magic square board, which is also the tic-tac-toe board, but we know what they were getting at. So I looked this up. There it is, the Freemasons Magic Square. Here's the Wikipedia page for the Magic Square. And as you can see, what these magic squares do is you fill them with numbers, and then they all add up to the same number in each line, as you can see on your screen. Now, what is this about? Well, as the dancers moved around the magic square, they became the numbers in the squares. Now, I didn't bother counting all of the dancers because there were so many of them. But Lamar opens up first on the square stage in the upper left corner. And the first song he sings, are you ready for this? Is about Geminis. Here's Samuel L. Jackson saying, salutations to your Uncle Sam. But he's really like Uncle Tom. Here's the first performance in the square in the upper left corner. And the first lyric is, my Gemini twin, back power up, no more handshakes. Now, what's this all about? Well, of course, Trump is a Gemini, and so is Kendrick Lamar. He was born on just a couple days after Trump on the 17th of June. He is also a Gemini. Then something really weird happens. It's at this point that Kendrick Lamar is surrounded by this group of men, and there's a panting ritual, a demonic panting and hopping ritual. Now, we saw this same exact thing many times. The first time I ever saw the panting ritual, and I didn't have any context to know what it really meant, was in the movie I Am Legend. Here's the scene here from I Am Legend when Will Smith goes into a building to chase Sam, his dog, who runs into the building. And inside are the zombies. And they're basically in stasis. They're basically resting during the day because they can't go out during the day because the sun burns them. So they're standing in a circle and they're panting and hopping, like resting almost. And Will Smith goes in the dark and he shines a light on them very briefly, but it's not enough to wake them up. And he's looking for Sam. He's whispering, "Sam, where are you? Where are you?" Many of you will remember the scene. Well, since then, we've seen other iterations of this panting ritual in very demonic movies. It was actually in Midsommar that we just decoded as well. There was a panting scene like this. And this is how they invoke spirits. I mean, I'm sure if I went down the rabbit hole, there would be even more details about what this actually is. But it has something to do with invoking spirits so that the person can be entered into or possessed. But it also, in the movie I Am Legend, it doubles as basically a side effect of the infection, because the body temperature is so high as your immune system is trying to fight the virus, that they literally start panting. Now, if you'll remember, a couple weeks ago, Larry Ellison, Trump's billionaire, got up on stage and said that Stargate AI basically has the cure for cancer, which was the catalyst for the zombie apocalypse in the movie I Am Legend. Lady got on stage and says, "We have 100% cure rate of cancer." And then the zombie apocalypse ensued. Now, here's where things get really weird, because there was a song that was performed by Kendrick Lamar in which he mentions him being some kind of royalty from some kind of bloodline, that it was in his DNA. And he said Yeshua's name over and over again. Now, this is Hebrew roots stuff. Here's the song lyrics, because the caption did not pick up on it. But sure enough, this is what he said. "Loyalty, got royalty inside my DNA. Was Yeshua new weapon? I don't contemplate, I meditate." So there are the lyrics to this song. The song is called DNA. It's at this point that Kendrick Lamar's dancers surround him in the shape of the flag. Now, I'm not saying this to try to stoke racial division, but this whole thing was cringy. It was almost as if, because the 99% of the dancers were black, and it was almost as if they were the message was, "We are taking over America." That's just the message that I got. It was really weird. And then you had Samuel L. Jackson playing the Uncle Tom, telling them to calm down. It was just weird. It was unrelatable to anything. Now, by now, you've heard that Tom Brady and Snoop Dogg had a very cringy ad, and we'll cover that in a minute here, in which they were talking about hate. And they were pretending like they were angry at each other and didn't trust each other. Well, yeah, that can kind of happen when you do a music video where you pretend to shoot the president in the head, and everybody just wants to forget that that happened, as Snoop Dogg shows up to his presidential ball. I mean, if Trump had anyone that he should be mad at, it would be Snoop Dogg, right? So there's this weird relationship that Trump has with black people. And I haven't been able to put my finger on it yet, but it's bizarre. He gives Snoop Dogg a pass, but listen to what he does to Taylor Swift, which is really weird. But let's finish this up first. So they surround Kendrick Lamar in the shape of the U.S. flag. And I counted the dancers here. Let's zoom this up a little bit so you guys can see this. There were 12 blue dancers. There were 26 white dancers and 22 red dancers. So in total, if you add Kendrick Lamar, there were 61 total people in this flag. I don't know what that means, but that's the number. It's after this point that Kendrick Lamar leads the dancers across the floor into the shape of a serpent. Here it is. Couldn't believe it. He's walking across the floor, and the dancers are following him, slithering around the floor like a snake. I don't know if anyone else picked up on that, but this is just what I found. Now, this was probably the lowest budget halftime show I think I've ever seen. It was cringy. Now, let's get into the stories that I told you we would cover earlier. This is in the news headlines today. Super Bowl 2025. Taylor Swift gets booed. Kendrick Lamar disses Drake. And what's up with that scoreboard? These were the viral moments of the night. So this gives us a snapshot into what they wanted people to pick up on, right? Because this is all about programming. So Taylor Swift apparently got booed. And look at this. It literally says SARS. Like, this is what they captured here. SARS. The last three letters of Caesar's, of course. Let's look down here. So who knows what's going to happen to Taylor Swift? She's confused by the boos, okay? People hated the Tom Brady Snoop Dogg anti-hate ad that I mentioned a little bit earlier. Two legends in their own right delivered a PSA called No Reason to Hate, which turned out to be a bit ironic. Once it debuted, social media became flooded with people expressing how much they hated the ad. The spot was for billionaire Robert Kraft's foundation to combat anti-Semitism. Wow. We have a lot bigger problems than that in America. Now you're not allowed to criticize certain groups. Let's keep going. Martha Stewart Sketcher ad. I didn't cover that one. Oh my gosh. Wow. Like, apparently there was a new scoreboard. Now Trump got in on the action, and he essentially, he's so weird. Like, he literally was comparing himself to Taylor Swift. And he's like, yeah, she got booed and I got cheered. He's like a little kid. He's like, I'm popular, she's not. Now, this was after he had said in the past that she was so beautiful. And then at one point he said after that, he hated her. So there's this weird back and forth going on with Trump and Taylor Swift. And of course, the Eagles blew out Kansas City. Now, I have to admit, I was happy to see that, even though all this is fake. But it's like Kansas City was just getting way too much attention, and I just don't believe that any of it was real. Now, in some weird twist of fate, the quarterback of the Eagles, they did a post-game interview, and he literally said in the interview that he said that the success of the team was because they sticked to the script. Sticking to the script. These were his last words before he got off the stage. Sticking to the script. Wow. So, that's pretty much it. Those are the ads in the halftime show. Tomorrow, we're going to be looking at a Supertramp album cover from 1979 that predicted the planes hitting the towers in Manhattan, the Twin Towers, 22 years before it happened. Let me go into the chat. Good morning, everybody. Now, I could have missed something, but that was the best I could do with the time that I had. I didn't get home till about 10 o'clock last night from my friend's house. But what do you guys think about all that? We'll open it up for discussion for a little bit. And I'll put links to everything as well. Yes, I did forget to mention that Kendrick Lamar had a lowercase a around his neck. I don't know if that stood for Amazon or what, but yes, Joe, the album we'll be covering tomorrow is called Breakfast in America by Supertramp. And thanks to the subscriber who sent that to me. Apparently there was a misunderstanding when they tried to share this information with me a couple years ago. And I can understand why, because the album cover sounds like a slur. So the person who I had moderating probably thought that the person was causing trouble. And so please try not to take things personally. There is what's called, misunderstandings when we're typing and texting things, right? There's a misunderstanding. So Leslie has the album. Okay, so Leslie, what I want you to do, and don't give it away, okay? But what I want you to do is flip the album over onto the back cover and look in the lower right corner, and make sure you're sitting down, because you're probably going to fall out of your chair. And don't give it away, because we're going to cover it tomorrow. All right. Yeah, the whole Drake, didn't want to get too much into the rivalries, because I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's something to all that. Drake versus Kendrick Lamar. I was never into either of those artists. This new pop and rap, I haven't resonated with that in probably 2 decades. I don't even understand it. To me, that doesn't even sound like music. It's all just remixed old songs and mumbling is what it sounds like to me. And drama and a little bit of violence mixed in, which is all unhealthy stuff to try to absorb. Oh, it's for A minor. Thank you. So A minor was what the A stood for. Thank you so much for clarifying that. Yes, I heard there was a PEDO component to all that. I guess he was accusing Drake of being one. Okay, I get it. Okay, I understand. Thanks for that. Thanks for the clarification. You guys are awesome. Year of the Snake. Yes, Joanne. Yep, it's the same beat remixed. It sounded like one long song as I was watching it. It's like zombie music. Like literally, you could just sit there and stand in one spot and bob your head up and down, and it would just like be like zombie music. Is it what it sounds like to me? It's almost hypnotizing. So I'm sure there's something to that as well. And as all this materializes and we get more clarification about where all this is headed, then we'll be doing more decodes on that. Tempos and beats and trances and all that stuff. Yes, the dancers leading like a snake. Yeah, we covered that a couple minutes ago. Who has the juice? I don't know what that means. They speed up the keys and call it music. No, any blue is not blocked. I can see you. Yeah, we'll cover that woman. You guys are not even gonna believe what I'm gonna show you tomorrow. It's insane. There's so much more to that than meets the eye, to that Supertramp album cover. Breakfast. I've got so much to show you on that. I just don't want to overwhelm you today with, we just got to finish up the Super Bowl. Okay. All right, you guys. Well, I'm going to get off of here. Thanks everybody for showing up. Thumbs up the video, please. Looks like we had almost 1,000 people tune in. Let's get these thumbs up above 1,000. That'll help the video get out. I'm sure you're not going to see a decode like this because I don't like to look at other people's decodes when I do these kinds of decodes. And so this is all original content. I'm sure people will piggyback off of this and show the Freemason square and all that And that's fine because that gets the word out, right? I love each and every one of you, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care.